Lastly, the biggest news of the night was the fact that Caitlin Clark and Nafisa Collier, they traded their coaches.
I don't know if this is in the rules. I don't really care. But I think we've already discussed we are going to trade coaches. Fee's going to take her coach, Sandy Brondello. Let's get it.
Oh.
It's going to be amazing. Sorry, WNBA, if that's not in the rule. Sorry.
We have breaking news here. I don't know that I've heard of a coach being traded in the All-Star Game.
In one of the most unexpected moments in league history, Clark stood at center stage and casually traded away her coach live on national television. She looked into the camera, shrugged, and declared, "Sorry, WNBA, if that's not in the rules, we just made it one." The internet erupted, but what seemed like a playful stunt was actually a calculated power move, with layers of drama, history, and strategy underneath. The draft started like any other, light banter, friendly rivalries, and the usual hype. But when Caitlin Clark, newly minted face of the league, made the decision to swap out Cheryl Reeve for Sandy Brondello, jaws hit the floor. This wasn't just some on-the-spot joke, it was a statement. For the first time in WNBA All-Star history, a player orchestrated a coach trade mid-draft. The move stunned commentators and left fans wondering what just happened. But before we get to the deeper meaning behind the trade, let's talk about the moment that made the internet explode, Sabrina Ionescu's reaction.
Coach, you may have been involved in the first ever coach trade of any All-Star game ever. Just want to get your thoughts on that in your mind. First for you, Leo.
They announced it? Yeah. That you got traded? Yeah.
When she found out that her longtime Liberty coach, Sandy Brondello, was joining Team Clark, she didn't miss a beat. With a sly smirk, she looked over and said, "You can't escape me." It was funny, sure, but it was also telling. The chemistry between Brondello and Ionescu is real, and now it was about to be tested in an entirely new context. Here's where it gets juicy. Remember who left Caitlin Clark off the Olympic roster earlier this year? Cheryl Reeve. Yeah, that Cheryl Reeve. The same coach Clark just booted in front of the entire sports world. That Olympic snub didn't sit right with a lot of people, and clearly, it didn't sit right with Caitlin either. Add to that the subtle shade Reeve has thrown toward the media frenzy surrounding Clark.
Also, just stunningly bad behavior by Cheryl Reeve, tweeting at and about Caitlin Clark, kind of blaming her for not having her games on, Minnesota Lynx on TV, but only, Caitlin games on TV. That's the gist of it again.
That the USA Basketball was not going to be putting Caitlin Clark, the biggest name in the history of the sport, whether she deserved to be or not, she is in terms of the fan interest and they give her a consolation prize. Even before they officially announced that she wasn't on the 5-on-5 team, they were going to try to put her on the 3-on-3 team, which is that kind of fun, funky version of basketball that's in the Olympics, and she didn't want any part of that, which I don't blame her because.
And suddenly, the trade isn't just about coaching preference, it's personal. Sandy Brondello, for her part, handled the moment with grace and humor.
Coach, you may have been involved in the first ever coach trade of any All-Star game ever. Just want to get your thoughts on that in your mind. First for you, Leo.
They announced it? Yeah. That you got traded? Yeah.
When asked about it, she smiled and said her son had texted her, calling it historic. And she's right. Never before has a coach been traded mid-draft in any All-Star format, not in the NBA, not in the WNBA. Brondello embraced it with the poise of a seasoned leader, thrilled to coach Caitlin and Sabrina, and genuinely excited about the opportunity. That adaptability, that's why she's respected across the league. But let's zoom out, because what Clark did wasn't just cheeky, it was symbolic. In a league that's been evolving rapidly, with young stars taking the reins and demanding more say, Clark's move signaled a shift. She didn't wait for approval. She didn't ask permission. She simply made it happen. That's the kind of energy that disrupts traditions and redefines how All-Star games, and maybe the league itself, are run. And then there's the strategy. Think about it. Sabrina and Sandy already know each other's rhythms, tendencies, communication styles. In a fast-paced exhibition game where team chemistry is hard to build in a few practices, having that pre-existing connection is a massive advantage. It wasn't just a power play, it was a smart play. Of course, not everyone saw it that way. Fans were split. Some praised Clark for her boldness, calling it iconic and game-changing. Others called it disrespectful, saying it undermined the integrity of the coaching staff. But either way, they were talking, and that's what the All-Star game needs. Fresh energy, unpredictability, something to keep people invested. Sabrina's presence in all this added the perfect balance. She brought the humor, the humanity, and the perfect one-liner that fans latched onto instantly. That "you can't escape me" moment. It wasn't just a meme, it was a nod to the league's tight-knit relationships, the interconnectedness of its stars, and the personal stories that often go untold. Let's not forget, Sandy Brondello was suddenly asked to coach players she's never worked with, including the most polarizing name in the sport, and yet she handled it like a pro. No panic, no pushback, just genuine excitement and confidence in her ability to adjust. That's what leadership looks like. And what about Caitlin? Her move, announced with the casual confidence of someone ordering a latte, sent a ripple effect through the league. This wasn't about drama for drama's sake. It was about taking ownership, challenging norms, and reminding everyone that All-Star games are supposed to be fun, yes, but also reflective of the league's biggest personalities. The reactions were swift and loud. Some viewers called Clark's behavior disruptive. Others said it was a breath of fresh air. But everyone agreed on one thing: it got people watching. In a league still fighting for mainstream attention, moments like this are priceless. And then there's the question, what happens next? Will future captains start making trades mid-draft? Will the league embrace this kind of spontaneity? If the WNBA wants to continue growing its audience, it might have no choice. The format had started to feel stale, predictable. Clark shattered that predictability in under 30 seconds. But perhaps the biggest takeaway from all this isn't about basketball, it's about empowerment. Caitlin Clark, in just her second year, showed that she's not only a generational talent, but also a strategic thinker who knows how to navigate the spotlight. Sabrina Ionescu, with one line, showed she understands the moment and how to lean into it. And Sandy Brondello proved that the best leaders aren't afraid of a little chaos, they thrive in it. This wasn't just a fun moment in All-Star history, it was a turning point, a shift in how we view the WNBA and its players. Caitlin Clark didn't just draft a team, she drafted a new way forward. And when Sabrina smiled and said, "You can't escape me," she wasn't just teasing her coach. She was signaling to the world that the WNBA is finally stepping into its most entertaining, unpredictable, and powerful era yet.